All right, Zep, thanks for joining us to talk a little college basketball. And the Tigers game, the Auburn Tigers game Saturday, moved back to a night game because of the Music City Bowl in the afternoon. First of all, War Eagle, and what do you think about football this weekend? You going to be watching?
War Eagle. I'll be watching the Tigers this weekend. Be pushing to win this game. It'll be a pretty good game. Just being in a bowl game is always a great feeling. With the Tigers, I think they should have won a couple more games this year, especially like Georgia and the Alabama game. I just feel like, we should still have that confidence rolling to this game, this weekend in Nashville.
Yeah, would have been nice to pick off those two, but we'll see what happens in Nashville. The basketball game Saturday against Chattanooga, which should be another Auburn win, you would think. But tell me what you're thinking heading into that game and what you've seen so far this year from Auburn, as far as the schedule and as far as the new players we have, and what do you like?
Um, Well, this year's basketball team, I done seen a lot. They're a lot different from us. They're sharing the basketball, rebounding the basketball pretty at a high level, running the floor, which BP always talks about doing. I like this team. They're unselfish. They play together. They do everything in spurts. Um, it's just a team that guys that just want to win. Guys that's playing hard. Um, going to this game on Saturday, it's a game that we must win because it's just coming off the break. So guys just had Christmas, went home for a couple days, but I think we get back on track, with this game going into it to get our feet back wet, get everything going. But I'm pretty proud of this team, just not being ranked, but losing to App State, kind of hurt us. But sometimes you need those losses to get back on track and to see where you at, to humble yourself.
Mhm.
So I think we'll be pretty good. With conference play coming up, it'll be our first true test outside of Baylor and App State. So I think it'll be, pretty good going to conference play.
You said this team is different from when you were at Auburn a year ago, 2 years ago. Uh, what do you mean by that? What do you see as a difference? I know it seems like Coach Pearl took a little bit different recruiting path uh, last season, getting the three guys in that he got in, or four guys. What do you see as the differences in those years you were at Auburn and now?
Well, I really can't compare my first year because we had Jabari
Yeah.
and Walker and a couple other guys. But last year team is just they got guys who's willing to be more unselfish, guys who are willing to take a lesser role. Last year we had guys maybe who want to do other things. They probably want to score as much, but now they have guys that can really just do all types of things from rebound, hustle plays. I also want to give a shout out to KD Johnson, the way he's been playing this season. I'm super proud of him because, he didn't have to come back to Auburn. He came back and he's been playing super, super great. He's been the spark of the team this year, which he's always been a spark. But he's been playing lights out. And I just look at the games and Janai Broome, some of the games he haven't had his best games, but as you see when he plays, when he doesn't score, he say if he scored 3 or 4 points, other guys contribute, more than when Janai had the biggest load on the team last year when he had to score 20 and get 10 rebounds every night. Um, but it's just it's a whole as a whole team this year, everything has been going well. Jalen Williams have been playing great. Um, Trey also has been playing great coming off the bench. He's also been one of the best players on the team this year. He's just been a steady point guard. He's been like a Trey Jones, the guy who played Washington Wizards. So I compare their games similar to each other. So he's just been playing steady this year.
What you mentioned, Janai, and he hasn't had the greatest scoring games. When we get into the SEC schedule, do you think he has to pick that up and be a little more offensive minded?
Well, I see a lot of things on Twitter. I looked at a statistic yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it, and it was doing the top scores in the SEC from 1 through 11, and I didn't see no Auburn player in
Right.
that category. Which SEC play is a whole different level, whole different ball game. Out of conference is different, but in conference, we will see Janai Broome in that conversation. We will see Jalen Williams or Aiden Holloway in that situation. Maybe top 1 through 20, but we will see Janai Broome in that category
Mm-hmm.
without a doubt because guys are going to be bigger, stronger. They're going to block shots. It's just going to be harder for our guys, to do what we're doing now out of conference. So I know for sure Janai Broome will be in that category.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned KD. I think a lot of people thought of him this year as maybe taking a step back and being more of a role player. But like
Mm-hmm.
you said, he has really come on in the last few games defensively, getting to the basket, hitting his 3-point shot. And still to this point, Zep, when he drives to the basket, and you've been there against these big trees that you have to go in there and somehow find a way to get it in the basket. Some of those shots that he takes driving to the basket, I don't know how he gets those in the hole.
Well, Katie is a guy. He got confidence. When he believe it, he believe it. That's what I know about him. And being around him for 2 to 3 years, um, he just believe in himself so much. I love it because no one else believe like Katie believes. He believes he can make any shot, take any dude. He don't care if you 7'8", 7'2", 5'2". He gonna tell you, I'm gonna make this shot. And when he makes the shot, he's gonna give you a face. He's gonna talk trash. He's gonna go crazy. He's gonna do anything to keep his mind going, to keep his mind situated. Just go. He's one of those guys. He's just gonna go. Like he's like a green light. He's never gonna stop going. He's gonna run through a brick wall for you.
How much do you when you're playing with KD, when you did the last couple of years, how much do you pay attention to what he says, and how much do you just have to go, kind of throw it out and keep going when he's
Well,
talking to
Katie's one
you
of
on
them
the court? I
guys.
mean,
Katie's just one of them guys. You just gotta let him be. If he tell you I'm finna do something, he's gonna do it. He's gonna go crazy. He's just gonna go maniac. Don't let him make 2 shots in a row. He's gonna tell you the other coach, I'm on fire. Y'all better go, y'all better get somebody to stop me because if y'all don't get somebody to stop me, it's gonna be a long game. He's gonna tell the players, BP. He just have that confidence instinct that I love about him.
mm,
And I always will applaud him for that because um it's not a lot of guys who can do that in college basketball. It's not a lot of guys who are just gonna have that type of energy. That feed and the team feeds off his energy. When they see KD go, the team goes. That's what I believe in because there's no one on that Auburn team this year is gonna do what he does. He's
yeah.
gonna do the dirty work every single game.
Mm-hmm. We talked about the SEC, the start of the SEC a little bit. We have Arkansas on the road, then A&M, LSU at home, Vandy in Nashville, Ole Miss in Auburn, and then Alabama and Tuscaloosa. That's a pretty rugged start for the Tigers, but I'm sure that they'll be competitive in all of those ball games. You mentioned the scoring a little bit, like Aiden Holloway, Trey, some of the new guys, Baker Mazzara, Denver Jones. When we get into these games against these level teams, who do you see coming forward as far as offense? That's one of my big questions, I guess, in the preseason is can they do it against that higher level of competition?
I believe so. I believe it's gonna be like spurts. One day it'll be Denver Jones. One day it'll be Baker Mazzara. Like we're expecting for Janai Broome to score. We're expecting for Jalen Williams to score.
Yeah.
Because they've been there. They've been in college basketball. They've been on this team. They know the system. But I believe in guys like Trey Donaldson, Denver Jones, Aiden Holloway and Baker Mazar to be those guys who to get the points that we need that's going to really help us out. Aiden Holloway has been awesome. He sees the floor. He shoots the basketball at a high level. Um, I love his game. So he's going to be a key aspect to this SEC run. If we're gonna win, it's gonna be because of Aiden Holloway.
Yeah, he's definitely been a performer so far in the preseason for the Tigers and a five-star guy coming out of high school. What do you see that, as we mentioned, that's a pretty tough start for Auburn. A lot of people are mentioning, of course, Auburn's depth. We have 10, 11 guys that can go. That seems to be the strength of this team. And when you watch Auburn's games, a lot of the national commentators are thinking, why isn't this team in the top 25? The way that they perform for the most part this season. What do you think as far as Auburn's performance this year, and how do they get through the SEC, and how far can they go with this team?
I believe we can go pretty far. The reason why we might not be in the top 25 is because of App State. But if you look at the rest of the games, it's been pretty good games. We lost to Baylor, made by 2 or 3 points. But other than that, I believe we would have been in the top 25 if it wasn't for that App State loss.
Mm-hmm.
I believe this team can go pretty far. Um, I believe they control their own destiny. Because the way they play so unselfish. They play hard. They play together. So, if they play together, I believe they can beat any team in the SEC. I done watched pretty much every team in the SEC this year, from Kentucky, Texas A&M, Arkansas, Tennessee. It's really the same names who have the same teams from 3-4 years, like a Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky, Texas A&M, and I probably would say Alabama. Those are teams that's really gonna really pound the basketball and really gonna be there come SEC play that we'll be fighting with. But I believe we'll be pretty good. We'll be pretty good. I believe we'll finish 1 through 3. We'll be that surprise team that people won't be expecting this year, which we always be. So I believe we'll finish 1 through 3, but I'm hoping we finish number 1. But I have faith in the Tigers this year, and I believe we'll finish 1.
Well, tell us, Zep, tell us a little bit about your career. I know that you're looking forward to what's ahead, and you've been talking to a few people as far as playing basketball again in Europe. What are you thinking as we get toward the new year here?
Well, hopefully in the next couple weeks, be heading, with my professional career and going somewhere to play basketball because, I just want to be here with my family for the holidays. It's just a special holiday to me, so I wanted to make sure I stayed in touch with my mom, my dad, my family, my aunts, my cousins, and also my friends. So, I just been training, working pretty hard each and every day, try to better my game and just try to work on things I couldn't do in college. So, um, I kind of took the back seat, every year. I'm just that type of player. I'm that type of person. So I believe in myself to, with my professional career, I show people, what I can really do, outside of certain things. But, it'll all work out for itself.
Yeah. Speaking of spurts, you were a guy that at Auburn, you had your spurts offensively, but you did, like you mentioned, kind of take a back seat and do what the team needed as far as defense in a lot of circumstances. What have you been working on, and what do you think that is more of an upside for you as you get ready for the next uh, level or the next uh, part of your career?
Well, something I've been working on is, like coming off pick and rolls, being a scorer. Back when I was at college at Charleston, I was a guy who scored the basketball coming off pick and rolls and worked on basically one-on-one defender, going around my defender, throwing lobs and making the right decisions. And also reading the court a little better, seeing the court better. My change of pace and speed, while having the ball in my hand. So that's been things I've been working on. And, I just see myself, defense is always going to be there for me because that's just my instinct. I have a great feel for the game for defense. So I just want to get back into, doing both, being a two-way player. I feel like I haven't been a two-way player, as much as I should have been at Auburn. So I
Hmm.
think I'll be back into that type of mode when I get back into my professional career.
Yeah. We see a lot of the European influence, I think, in basketball over here now with a four out or even five out. Some people are going toward not a whole lot of post play, not as much post play as we used to see. Is that better for your game, or what do you think? Better for guards, or how does it seems like we're going toward 6'3", 6'4" swing guys on the perimeter that can drive or shoot it.
Well, I'm not gonna say it's better, because I like to get up and down on the floor. I think in today's game, you need a big that can run the floor pretty good.
Yeah.
If you got guys who can just run, like be workhorses and just run up and down, like Dylan is one of those guys. He can run. He run like a guard. So you got guys like that who set screens, run, throw lobs. It's a little different. Then you got some guys who can get in the post and back you down like Janai. So, but my thing is I'm a running guard. Pressure the ball, get into the defender. My defense turns to offense. That give me confidence to get in my game. So, I just want a fast paced game. So I would think, in today's game, they see a lot of guys shoot threes, but I used to like the guys who pound under the basket, you know, get under the basket, get the dirty work, get the rebounds, post up, come set screen. So I'm that type of guy. I like that type of game, not the five out. It's kind of, affecting the game, because you got guys who's 6'10" shooting threes, when they can also go in the paint and post, so,
Hmm.
you know, I like guys who do dirty work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if I ever coach basketball, the first thing I'm gonna teach is I want all my players to dive on the floor. I want all my players to be physical, to play tough, to be a workhorse. So that's what I like.
What do you think about coaching? Is that something in the back of your mind that you'd like to do in the future?
From 6 to 7 years from now, I think I'll be coaching somewhere. Hopefully Auburn one day. Or be assistant coach for Auburn, then and just level up. But one day I see myself on the sidelines and being one of those coaches, well, I see myself, I will be one of those coaches one day. I will study the game as much as I can. Then been around a lot of coaches. BP have taught me a lot, just being around him, being the guy he is. He's a great guy, knows a lot about the game and, you know, he told me about when he first started coaching. He was in his 30s when he first started coaching. And, I really took his story, and I always remember, when he first told me that story when we was at his house, at his lake house, when he told me about when he first started coaching.
What did he tell you? And how long do you think he'll go at Auburn? Do you think he'll coach into his 70s, or what do you think?
That's a good question. That's a good question because a lot of people don't ask him that.
Yeah.
Me personally, do I think he'd go till he's 70? I'm trying to figure out what's BP age right now. I know it's in the 60s.
Yeah, I think maybe early 60s.
Early 60s. I think he'd go to about, if he's 62, I think he'd go to about 68, 69.
Uh-huh.
But BP is a enthusiastic guy. He's amped, he's pumped, you know what I mean? So, age comes, as age comes, like as in basketball, if you get older, stuff kind of decrease. So I don't think he'd be as pumped, but I think he still would be, who he is.
Hmm.
So I think he'll make it to 70. I got faith in that he'll make it. I know a lot of people who think he won't make it because of the way he is. He yell, he's pumped, he yell at his players, and he yell at his players because he cares so much and he want people to be great. And he be into the game so much. Like
Hmm.
I remember we were down by 30 points. No, we went down, but we was up by 30 points. And when he was talking to me, he was telling me, Zep, what are you doing? Like he was yelling at me and we was up by 30. And I'm like, BP, we up by 30. What are we doing? But he just wanted to win. He just wanted that. He got that drive in him, and I love
Yeah.
it about him.
Can't quit.
Can't quit. When
Yeah.
that clock says 0-0, that's when it's over. That's what type of coach he is.
What did he tell you at the lake? Was that something about coaching, or was the one or two things that he told you?
It was just one or two things he had told me. Um, because I just want to know some history. It was earlier, when I first got to Auburn, he was telling me about, when he first started and when he first got, his first big check. Um, and he just was explaining to me, about his story, his history, and, you know, him being the guy who he is and being a guy like BP is a household name in college basketball. And I would think like, starting at a young age, like BP was successful, but he told me he didn't get successful to like his third or fourth job, in college basketball. So I always look at that story and say, if BP did it, I think I can do it.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Dylan too a little bit, how he's up and down the court, and it seems to me this year he's been more of a factor than in past years. Have you talked to him, or do you communicate with him about what he's doing or working on? Or it seems to me that he is a little more aggressive as far as putting the ball in the basket down low.
hmm Dylan always had confidence in Dylan. Dylan's one of those players that if he ever figure it out, he is going to be a monster. But Dylan always come in the gym, work on his game, and he's always trying to be great. He's always trying to learn on what he can get better at. So, over the years, he always talked about, this year I'm gonna do this. I don't care if I get the ball, I'm gonna dunk it. I don't care who in my way. So I expect that out of Dylan. He just Dylan's gonna be Dylan. He's gonna get the crowd amped. He's gonna clap. He's gonna yell. That's just who he is. So when I see Dylan, when I see him doing those dunks, I say that's the dog I know.
Yeah.
He got that dog in him. That's the Dylan I know. That's the Dylan I want him to be every single game. I want him to be aggressive, miss or make. The thing is, when you're aggressive, that's when you're putting the pressure on the defense. No matter who you play, no matter what type of player they are, if they got good defense, put the pressure on them because Dylan, you're strong, you're big, you're physical. No one can stop you under that rim. And BP always used to tell him, do not let anyone get those rebounds when you're in the game. And if he didn't get them, BP was going to yell at him
Yeah.
every single time. Every single time he didn't do it, he said, go to the offensive glass. And if he didn't see Dylan go to the offensive glass, Dylan, he's going to yell at Dylan so loud, he's going to tell him, Dylan, what were you doing? But he does it because he believes Dylan can get every single offensive rebound, even defensive rebound.
Yeah. So much potential there. And I think, of course, everybody thinks of Dylan and his antics during the game or during the football game. We got to keep him out of the TV booth, right?
We got to keep him out TV booth. You might you might see him with his shirt off. You never know what Dylan.
Yeah.
So we got to keep him out the TV booth.
Yeah. Well, Zep, great to visit. Of course, we wish you the best in the new year with your career in Europe or wherever it may take you. And happy holidays and a happy new year. Hope you do well in 2024.
Thank you. War Eagle.